Hello and welcome to Sage Astrology. My name is Sage, here as your eye into the sky, letting you know what the cosmic events are for the week, why they matter, and how you can use this information in your everyday life. How has January felt for us all? I'm gonna go ahead and pause right there because it feels like January felt like the slowest month ever. Thank goodness we are into February. As February, things are going to be picking up a lot. January, we started out the year with the Mars retrograde, and Mars retrograding through Cancer is our motivation basically being waterlogged in the sign of water, in the sign of home and family, really encouraging us to stay home. Don't necessarily go out and get things done and reach your goals. You know, Mars is the planet that allows us to feel motivated to go to the gym, to tackle any sort of goals, tasks, chores we have on our to-do list. If this month felt like every little thing you were dragging at your feet, like you had no motivation, no willpower, and you had to find any ounce of it just to get through with your day-to-day tasks, I understand. And I do have good news for you. As February, we do have Mars retrograde ending. And if you are a Scorpio or an Aries, I feel for you. Let's check on our Aries and Scorpio friends because this Mars retrograde was hitting you all the most. You might have felt slowed down, you might have felt stagnant, even stuck. So again, February 24th, great news is Mars will be going direct. I will actually be discussing that on my next video. This video, we're gonna be looking a little bit deeper into the full moon in Leo. Now this week, this month, a lot of changes are coming in, a lot more forward motion. Back in January, we had the nodes of karma and destiny switching into Pisces and Virgo. This is big, as it was wrapping up a 18-month cycle where we had the nodes in Aries and Libra. Now they're shifting into Pisces, Virgo, where they will remain until 2027. This is very significant because this is an entirely new area of life that will be getting affected, and major life changes are abound in this particular area of our life. So January really did start off a lot of major stuff, but now February things are picking up. Jupiter's going direct, right? The planet of luck. Uranus has gone direct, the planet of change, freedom, and innovation. We're going to be talking a lot about Uranus during this episode, during this video, because of the fact that Uranus is squaring the full moon in Leo. It's square to the sun, it's square to the moon. If you're an astrology buff, we've got a T-square, and this is an interesting, very dramatic full moon. I like to look at the full moon happening on Wednesday, the 12th this month, as breaking through the mold to really let your light shine. Again, that month of January felt slow. If you guys noticed, did not even put out a video 2 weeks ago, and I always put out my videos every 2 weeks. This was only the second time in 3 years that I've missed a video. And again, there's no excuse, but I will say that this Mars retrograde has been moving through my 12th house of isolation and hibernation and everything going on behind the scenes, and getting in front of the camera, doing any sort of content and creation has been really feeling stuck for me. And I've been really more gravitating towards more of that hermit-like spaces where I can be in my own world. So this, Mars retrograde has definitely thrown a lot of us for a loop. It went retrograde on December 6th. And it'll stay until February 24th. Make sure, if you don't know where this retrograde is going on, that you listen back to my previous video, because I did discuss it there. And of course, you can always just look at where you've got Cancer in your chart, because that area of life is really the area getting this Mars retrograde. Now let's talk about this week. We've got a lot going on. We have Valentine's Day. I know it's a kind of made up holiday, but hey, it is an opportunity to love on ourselves, love on others, and just love. Now, we will look, of course, at where the moon is, and I'll just tell you guys right now, the moon on Valentine's Day is in Virgo. So, acts of service, doing something considerate for somebody, maybe doing something like helping them with their, let's just go to have a laundry date. Let's cook something in the kitchen together. Hey, you need to redo that old dresser sitting in your garage that you've been wanting to paint for years and you want to sand it down. Let's do it together, right? These are those Virgo types of acts of service. Love on each other in those ways. Venus, the planet of love, is in Aries. This is significant. Venus in Aries. This is also the sign that Venus will retrograde through. Starting on March 1st all the way until April 12th, Venus will go retrograde in the sign of Aries. It will actually eventually go back into Pisces. But right now we are focusing on Venus being in Aries, and it just entered Aries at the very beginning of February. It will be there until the beginning of gosh, April, we've got a while with Venus and Aries. Venus and Aries is your invitation to boldly love the people in your life. So this Valentine's Day, be bold, but also be logical. That moon in Virgo is encouraging us to not so much focus on the details. Don't get so nitpicky if some things haven't gone the way you want, but instead be there for other people, be of service. How can you love on others by showing up for them in ways that might be more pragmatic, but still mean something, right? So that's all to do with the Valentine's Day stuff. But we've got this full moon in Leo, and it is bold, it is bright, it is happening on Wednesday, February 12th. So we are going to look at that overview of that full moon, talk about what it means, and then of course dive into the horoscopes. Horoscopes coming up are extremely important to understand. I also recommend you have a very solid and really firm foundational understanding of your birth chart. That is essential. If you don't know this, of course, you can always go online and pull up a lot of information, but I do recommend getting with a professionally trained astrologer. That way we can actually unpack your chart by looking at it in ways that maybe the average person doesn't quite know or understand. This is going to help you in understanding your big three, all of your placements, and all of the transits that I discuss in these videos. So understanding where the planets will be moving through your chart, this will give you a lot deeper insight as to how they're going to be activating different components of your cosmic blueprint, your energy blueprint. This is your cosmic coding, how you entered into this lifetime, what makes you tick. All of that can be accessed through a professional birth chart reading. The link is down below if you're interested in booking one of those with myself. And again, the horoscopes coming up, make sure you listen in for your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, of course, go ahead, listen for your sun sign and your moon sign, but the rising sign will definitely be the most accurate. So let's go ahead and dive into all of the general themes regarding this full moon in Leo, and then we will dive into the specific horoscopes. On Wednesday, February 12th, we have the full moon in Leo. Now, this full moon is a continuation in a sense, because this full moon is, of course, following up with the new moon in Aquarius that we had just a couple weeks ago. Now, this full moon in Leo is really emanating themes of change, authentic self-expression, and not being afraid to let your light shine. Now, a full moon means that the moon is in Leo, but it's opposing the sun in the opposite sign of Leo, which, as we know right now, we're in Aquarius season. This Aquarius season has already been one for the books, as it is the first Aquarius season that we've had Pluto co-present in the sign of Aquarius during this time. So it already has brought in major waves of change, transformation, global problems, social, collective gathering, potentially even some feelings of revolution, and really looking at pushing back against the status quo. That's really Aquarian themes. And of course, Pluto, we talked about Pluto and Aquarius. That is a major signature over the next 20 years. Now, this full moon in Leo is sure to spark a lot of change and feelings of innovation within us. And why do I say that? Well, we've got the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Leo. Now, I love these two signs, these two what we call sister signs, right? They share the same axis. The sun in Aquarius is in the sign of the water bearer. Now, the Aquarius energy is that very idea-oriented, very intellectually driven air sign that's very focused on doing the things for the collective that happens behind the scenes, right? Aquarius is known for wanting to, as I always put it, save the world, but not necessarily be a part of the world. Opposite of that is Leo, right? Leo, sign ruled by the sun, opposite to Aquarius, which is traditionally ruled by Saturn, hottest planet, so to speak, the sun, right? Hottest luminary versus the coldest planet, Saturn. Now, when we have the moon in Leo, Leo energy is bright, it is bold, it is warm, and it is focused on oneself. Not to say that Leos are all the time selfish, although that is a component of the shadow side of Leo energy, but also Leo is very focused on being center stage and being in the spotlight. So you could kind of look at this like Leo is the celebrity on stage, while Aquarius is the one behind the scenes, the director, so to speak, right? Making sure that everything is going off without a hitch, and yet they are never actually seen by the general public. And so the sun is doing its work in Aquarius, and of course there's a lot going on there, especially with Pluto, as I just discussed. But now we've got the moon entering Leo, and it's this beautifully bright, warm, and illuminating reminder, because of course it is a full moon, reminding us to not be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to take up space and to be center stage. And what does that look like for you and in the area of life that this full moon is showing up? Now, of course, knowing where this is showing up for you, it will be essential, and you'll learn this in the horoscopes. So make sure you go ahead after this part and you fast forward to your rising sign. That'll tell you what area of life all of these general themes are more than likely going to be showing up. And so we have this full moon in Leo. And again, it is this warm reminder that while we are here to serve people and to be a part of this collective consciousness and to make sure that we're helping all of humanity elevate, right? That's that Aquarius, the freedom fighter, the rebellious one that wants innovation and change and liberation. That's Aquarius energy. It's very intellectually based. It's an air sign. It wants to see everybody come together. Then we've got Leo coming in, right? That full moon is reminding us that your emotions still are about you sometimes. And it is okay to take up space. It is okay to say how you feel. It is okay to authentically express who you are at the expense of how others might take it. And don't be afraid about how you look, Leo energy. I know this is going to be difficult, but here's what's going on. Not only do we have this full moon in Leo, but a major signature of this full moon is the fact that it is squaring Uranus. Uranus is the planet of change, freedom, rebellion, revolution, change, innovation. This is the planet that's going to shake things up. I call this the WTF planet. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Because let's be real, when Uranus comes in, it changes up the status quo. It's in Taurus, which means that it is squaring both the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Leo. So fixed signs, Scorpios, Tauruses, Aquariuses, Leos. I know this moon might feel tough. We might feel a lot of chaos, and this is the sign. These are the signs that are not typically used to change. Fixed signs. All of us have fixed signs in our chart. Where in your life do you have this more fixed energy? Get ready, because this full moon, you might feel like you're being pushed outside of your comfort zone. Like you're being asked to take chances and to be brave in the face of change. Now, what I love about this is the full moon in Leo is, of course, in a fire sign, a very bold, fixed fire sign. Leo energy is bravery. It's actually the sign that rules over the heart in medical astrology. And of course, this heart, this brave heart that Leo emanates, this is the spark of change, of going boldly and bravely towards your future and breaking the mold. This is the Uranus energy coming in. We're going to break the mold of what's been in order to attain what we truly desire. Full moons are moments of culmination. We are culminating a 6-month cycle. What was going on for you back in Leo season in August of 2024? How is life happening for you? What was going on? Were you feeling like you were able to express yourself authentically, or did you feel like you had to hide in some way? If you had to hide in any way, look at what's going on in your life now and see how you've been able to be more authentic, to be more open and honest with who you are and express creatively who you are with no shame. Last point I want to make on this, you guys, this is Uranus in Taurus. Taurus rules over the throat. Leo rules over the heart. Speak from your heart, right? Speak from that place of authentic self-expression. Leo is the sign of authentic self-expression. Do not be afraid to speak up, to speak boldly, proudly, and bravely. It's okay to try new things. It's okay to experiment with new opportunities that are available to you. Let's go ahead and unpack where this is showing up in your chart. And again, just a friendly reminder, your rising sign is going to give you the most accurate understanding and interpretation of this full moon energy. But of course, please keep in mind, we do have a lot of other people in the world that don't have their rising sign. That's okay. If you're listening to this right now, I understand. If you don't know your rising sign, you don't know what time you were born, listen in for your sun sign. The sun sign will still give you a great understanding of how this might be showing up for you. And of course, you can even listen to your moon sign just to get a bit of a more in-depth knowledge of how this moon will show up for you. But ultimately, guys, I hope that this video gives you value. And again, if you are getting value from these videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, that you hit the like button, and please comment. Thank you all so much for all your comments. I do read them. They mean a lot. I will get these timestamps going. I am so sorry. It has been, and honestly, if somebody could even comment and let me know what I'm doing wrong, because when I put them in the description, I don't know, they're not showing up on the bottom part. I'm a newbie to YouTube. I'm going to be totally honest. It's been, I don't know, maybe over a year, but I'm still learning about YouTube. It's not my first social media platform, so work with me. But thank you all for sticking it out with me. And yeah, let's get into these horoscopes. Aries rising. All right, Aries, let's start things off. I want you to think back to August 4th, 2024. This past August, what was going on for you? What in the area of your dating life was happening for you? What seeds did you plant when it came to your creative expression, the hobbies, the passions you have, the things that you devote your time and energy to when you have free time and you just want to be creative and have some fun? What about children? What was going on for you in the area of children around August? This full moon in Leo is culminating a lot of the major themes that was happening for you then. Now, this full moon in Leo is an opportunity to have fun, to prioritize having fun, and to look at how things have been going in the areas of children, dating, and creativity. Are you authentically expressing yourself? Are you finding time to paint, to draw, to dance, to do all the creative stuff that you love to do? Are you playing sports like you used to? Or are you holding back for other reasons? In dating, are you exploring new ways of having fun and bringing romance into the relationship? Are you being experimental? Are you switching things up? Are you actually being authentic with the people that you're dating? Or are you hiding behind some Leo image that you're trying to create? This full moon is your reminder to break outside of whatever mold, whatever habits that you've created in this area of life, and be okay with standing out. Be okay with being different. Now, I know you're an Aries and you don't mind walking to the beat of your own drum, but this full moon is also squaring Uranus in your second house of money. Now, ever since 2018, Aries, you might have been really changing up how you earn your money. There might have been a lot of major shifts, potentially some things that really shocked some people when it came to how you earned your income and also how you feel about yourself in relation to the resources that you have accumulated. Now, this full moon is squaring this area of your life, which does say there might be some tension. You might have to really explore, have I been authentically spending my money on things that make me feel good? Or am I paying to keep up with an image that might not be true to myself? It's okay to splurge, Aries, but also, I know you guys are the types to really go to extremes. Don't overspend your money in the name of trying to keep up how you appear. Appearances don't mean everything. And I know Leo in the 5th house, Aries rising, you all might feel like, especially when it comes to dating and creativity and really putting out those things that matter to you, you really care. So this full moon, allow it to be your invitation to change up how you've been doing things in your dating life, to maybe allow some new experimental fun, bringing that spark alive back to your relationships, bring that in. Children, maybe this is your opportunity to lean in deeper to your inner child. If you haven't been prioritizing fun and play, go play, Aries rising. This is your opportunity. This is your invitation. The full moon in Leo is also quite fertile, I will say that. And being in your 5th house of children, Aries risings, if this is your time in life where you've been considering children, don't be surprised if this full moon brings up major themes of pregnancy, children, and fertility. So ultimately, this full moon is a culmination of what happened for you back in August. 6 months later, I want you to take this opportunity to really take note of what's been going on and also allow this to be your chance to use whatever tension might arise when it comes to your finances and these 5th house themes, and allow this to be your opportunity to switch up how you've been doing things, to break out of whatever habits have been keeping you tied down, and lean into play, lean into fun, and lean into being your authentic self with children, with your dating life, and even just in those creative projects that really mean a lot to you. Taurus rising. Taurus risings, think back to August 4th, 2024, and ask yourself, what was happening for you when it comes to your home life, your parents, the physical space in which you call home? This was the new moon in Leo, and it was activating your 4th house of your home life, your living situation, your parents, and even going back to your childhood and your ancestry. Now, this new moon in Leo activated back in August really might have started some things for you. You might have been looking deeper into changing up where you live or rekindling old relationships with family members. Maybe something happened with your parents, or maybe something happened with the current family that you have created. Whatever that is, Taurus risings, what is going on for you now as we celebrate the culmination of the full moon in Leo happening this Wednesday in the same house of your birth chart? Now, this is all to do, of course, with the people and the places in which you call home. Leo energy is bold, it is bright, it is loud, and it cares a lot, and it's very loyal to those that it considers to be family, right? This is that lion's pride. And so Utilize this full moon and take note of how things have come along since the summer. Have you made major changes to your home? Have you maybe changed up where you live or redecorated? Have members of your family come and gone, or have relationships blossomed over the last 6 months? Or maybe some relationships have basically gone to the wayside. Whatever that looks like for you, Taurus, know that this full moon is also forming a really intense square with your Uranus in that first house. Now, ever since 2018, Taurus risings, you've had Uranus moving through your first house, which means you have experienced a lot of personal changes. You might have changed up your physical appearance. You might have had some unexpected health things going on. You might have ultimately just changed how you come off to other people. Maybe the way in which you appear to the world has shifted a lot since 2018. Potentially some labels you have or anything of that nature. Now, this full moon is activating that. So potentially your family starts to bring up some changes that you've made over the years, and that becomes a topic of conversation during this full moon. Maybe you have to really look at who you are and how that relates to the people in your family and to your home life. And are there things that could be changed, shifted, or upgraded? Do you feel like things have become stuck or stagnant in any way as it comes to how you relate to your family and your home life? And if so, this is that full moon. That's your opportunity and your invitation to break outside of those habits and routines, to say that you're not going to do things the way you've always done them. You're not going to have the same types of conversations. You're not going to follow down the same patterns and cycles that we know we can get into, especially with those that we're close with, family included. So really, Taurus risings, let this full moon be your invitation to invite bigger and better change into your home life, into that personal space in your life that you might not involve a lot of other people in. This might be a very personal full moon for you. And of course, Uranus getting activated in your first house, you might be feeling a lot of major inklings of change. You might be feeling the stirrings of wanting to break out of whatever mold you've set yourself in. I would not recommend Taurus risings to get a major makeover or aesthetic change during this time. Please don't chop off all your hair or get bangs. Again, if you want to do it, I'm not going to say don't, but I would recommend taking your time before jumping into anything, just because that Uranus activated in your first house could really make you want to just do something a little bit more crazy than usual. But ultimately, this full moon in your fourth house is really what's bringing your emotions to the home space. Allow your heart to lead you, listen to your emotions, and also pay attention to whatever changes are rumbling in that home space and allow them to unfold as they may, as this might actually be the best thing for evoking change and also upgrading things from where they have been to where they could be moving forward. Gemini rising. Gemini risings, think back to August 4th, 2024, and look at what was going on for you during that time, as that was when we had the new moon in Leo, and now we're experiencing the full moon in Leo on Wednesday the 12th. Now, currently, we'll have the full moon in Leo, which will be in your third house of communication and your local environment. This is the area of the chart that deals with siblings, with neighbors, and with our thought processes. This is K through 12 schooling and those basics of understanding the facts and the essentials of whatever thought, whatever topic of study that we are interested in. The third house is all of the things that involve our local environment, where you go on a daily basis, who you see, what you study, what you listen to, what podcast do you turn on, what place do you go to, what coffee shop do you visit every single morning, what barista do you talk to, right? These are the third house things that are getting activated for you, Geminis, during this time. Now, over the last couple of weeks, the sun has been in Aquarius, which has activated your ninth house. Pluto being here as well means that you've been probably focused a lot on increasing your education, maybe diving deeper into topics of religious study or even astrology or spirituality. You might have been researching more about travel, or maybe you've been booking long distance trips or talking about learning new languages or researching other cultures. These are all ninth house topics that might have been active for you. But now this full moon in Leo is your reminder to get back to the basics, Gemini, right? Look back to what it is that got you to where you are now, and see how you can really make sure the foundation of whatever that is solid. Now, Leo in the third house is bold. It means that our communication is bold. And of course, Leo rules the heart. So during this full moon, Geminis, I know you're an air sign and you're going to love this, but please speak from the heart. not just the mind. And that I think that might be the more tricky part for you guys is during this full moon in Leo, when you communicate, especially to the people you see every single day, right? That barista that you see every morning, maybe the person that you wave to as you're, driving past your local gas station or wherever it is, your neighbors that you see on a day-to-day basis. Use this full moon as your invitation to maybe spark a new conversation. Leo is a sign that is really great at giving compliments. Say hello and give a quick compliment as you're, getting your coffee in the morning. Maybe instead of just swiping your card, you ask how their day's going. These are simple things, but I will say that during this full moon, you might feel more emotionally inclined to do these things anyway. And at the same time, they might really help you. I will also include that for this full moon, Gemini rising, it is also squaring the Uranus moving through Taurus in your 12th house. Now, 12th house energy can be difficult in the sense that it is so hidden behind the scenes that we don't always see it happening. And therefore it's like out of sight, out of mind until something occurs that you're like, oh, where did that come from? And that again is that 12th house energy. This has been since 2018, okay? Geminis, you've had Uranus moving through your 12th house, which again is all about things happening behind the scenes, your subconscious, your dreams, and all places and people that are outside of regular society. You might have gone on a lot of retreats, or maybe you've gotten deeper into, meditation or dream studies, things of that nature. Now, during this full moon, you might feel like you are being called to retreat, right? In order to maybe learn more about the foundations of what it is that you want to understand deeper, right? That third house of learning and communication, you want to do this in private. Maybe you decide that you want to, understand something or take up a new study, that you want to learn a new topic. You want to start studying a new subject and you decide that you want to do this, but you don't necessarily want to do this in a classroom setting. You don't necessarily want to be front and center. And therefore you decide, let's do an online class. Let's pick up a book and read at the end of the day when everybody else has gone to sleep. Okay, utilizing whatever patterns and habits that you've been breaking over the last 7 years while Uranus is moving through your 12th house. If there's habits, patterns, thought processes, limiting beliefs that you have been really working towards breaking, this full moon might be that huge culmination of energy where you're like, wow, I actually broke past that limiting belief and I learned it in a new way. I unlearned to relearn. That could be what Gemini risings, what you really emanate, what you experience during this full moon. So take the time to connect with people that you see every single day, but also don't be surprised if you have to change up the way that you learn things and even the way you communicate, and make sure that you're utilizing your tools that nobody else can see, speaking from a place that is much more subconsciously driven and a place that maybe you've gained the knowledge of what you're about to speak on from a place of meditation, or maybe you dreamt it, right? Going deeper into yourself in order to pull out the information that you're looking to express. That might be the biggest lesson and the biggest invitation for you Gemini risings to be exploring during this full moon in Leo. Cancer rising. Oof, Cancer risings. I'm just going to pause right here and send y'all some love, because I know this Mars retrograde moving through your first house has more than likely caused some inner tension, some turmoil, or maybe just feelings of stagnancy. So my heart is with y'all. It's almost over. But Cancer risings, this full moon in Leo is activating your second house of money. So we actually have some good things to talk about here. Now I want you to think back to August 4th, 2024, as that was when we had the new moon in Leo. Did you set some goals or plant some seeds involving the way that you earn money? Think about the ways that you were receiving income back in August. Have you changed the way that you've earned money since then? Have things improved? Have you added new income streams? Or maybe you've cut off some sources of income that were not serving you. Whatever that is, Cancer rising, this full moon is your culmination, financial culmination, so to speak, of all of the resources, of all the money and all the opportunities involved with attracting money and resources. This is the culminating moon that really is bringing this full circle for you. So again, thinking back to August and over the last 6 months, what has changed for you financially? And this can involve your spending, your income. This can involve the way you budget your money, where you put it, how you keep it, all of that, where you invest it to. A lot might be unfolding for you this week, especially as Uranus is squaring this full moon for you, and it is in your 11th house. Now, ever since 2018, you have had Uranus moving through your 11th house. This is the house of friendships, networking, your bigger hopes and dreams, right? The things that really push you to be a bigger effect on society, right? Really take your place. And what is it that I want to dream big on? And how can I have people in my life that help me get there? Who in my life and what organization or network is there to help me get towards those bigger, those loftier dreams? That's the 11th house. Now, how has that shifted for you over the last 7 years? Since 2018, have you changed your friend group? Have people come into your life that have given you new opportunities that you never would have expected? Have you wanted to maybe break out of the mold in some way and do something crazy with your life and really go towards a dream or a goal that maybe everybody else has told you you're crazy for? All of that is getting active for you right now, Cancers, and it might be active in the sense where you have to look at how you're spending your money in relation to how you're reaching those bigger dreams. Not only that, but are the people in your life helping you reach those dreams? Are they also helping you in terms of how you earn money? Or maybe they're blocking your blessings. This could be the big test of this full moon for you all, Cancer risings. Are the people in your life, are the networks you're a part of, the groups that you're a part of, any organizations or teams that you are a member of, do you feel like these entities that you are considering yourself a part of, are they helping you financially or are they hindering your finances? This is going to be the big question I want you to ask yourselves, Cancer, and listen to your intuition, as I know that is very strong for many of you. Literally look at how your money has been going. How have you been spending it? How have you been saving it? How has it been coming in? And also take note of the people in your life that have been influencing that. If there's anything that needs to change, if over the last 6 months some changes have happened and now this is kind of like the big culmination of that, and it might feel a little chaotic, don't get me wrong, but it also might feel really good. The one thing I do want to emphasize, Cancers, is because it's a full moon and it is emotional and it's in your house of money, please beware of emotional spending. Make sure that you don't just swipe that card because you feel proud, Leo energy, because you feel bold and brave and like nothing can hurt me. Or maybe you're just upset and you're having a good cry and you're just going to go and take yourself shopping. Whatever that is, please make sure that you're not spending anything in order to keep up appearances with friends. Make sure you're not overspending or putting your money in places that you don't trust simply because somebody in your group of friends or network is telling you to do so, or encouraging you to change up how things have been how you've been doing things when it comes to your money. Make sure, Cancers, that you stand firm. Make sure that you set boundaries, because it is very easy for this full moon for people to come in and affect your money. We don't want that to happen, so make sure that you stand strong in what is important to you and what needs to happen for you in your life, both financially and in terms of your friendships. Leo risings, this full moon, you are the center of attention. And I know you probably like hearing that because that is part of your functionality in the zodiac, is that Leos, you are meant to take center stage, right? And so having a full moon in your first house, oh, wow, this is beautiful in the sense that all eyes are on you. Now think back to August 4th, 2024. What was going on for you personally, Leo? Think back to what was going on for you, not just in terms of who you are, but also how you looked. Thinking about your physical body. Was anything going on for you? Were you changing things or wanting to change things when it comes to your physical body? Think back to all of those things, because this is the culmination of that. This full moon in Leo risings, this is your time to shine, because we have taken 6 months to do the work on ourselves personally. We have taken 6 months to make any changes to our personality, our physicality, and overall just our energy and our aura. Now, this could feel like a really emotional time for Leo risings because, of course, it's a full moon and the moon is our emotions, and it's bright and it's bold. And we might feel very proud and very confident, but we also might feel more sensitive. We might feel more sensitive to other people's opinions of us because Leo rising, Leo energy in general, right? We already know that there is a tendency to care a lot about what other people think. Comparison syndrome. Please, Leo risings, don't get caught up in comparing yourself to somebody else, because you know what work you've put in for yourself over the last 6 months. And there's nothing to take away from that just because you look at somebody else's results and want to compare theirs to yours. That's a huge reminder for this full moon. Now, this full moon in Leo is also squaring Uranus in Taurus. Now, Leo risings, Uranus has been moving through Taurus ever since 2018. What's been going on for you career-wise since 2018? Have you made major changes to your career? Have you added a secondary career, maybe a side hustle or a side gig? Maybe you've taken on new roles at work or changed completely what your career has been, or maybe you've infused your career with things that you never expected you would have. All of these are potentials, and all of these are getting active for you during this full moon because it is squaring Uranus in your 10th house of career. So during this full moon, I wouldn't be surprised, Leo risings, if the changes that you are looking at in your life, if the personal changes that you are observing within yourself, and maybe even celebrating, I hope, celebrating the big changes, the big, the big culmination that you've reached, that this full moon marks for you. How does that also affect your career? Are there major changes going on in your career that are also impacting the way you see yourself? That might be a big question for you to consider. If there's changes that you know you need to make within yourself, are they going to help your career or be a hindrance to your career? Do you feel like who you are is in alignment with how you are in your career, how other people see you? Right? Let's say that you are a doctor and you show up as Dr. So-and-so. Does that feel like an authentic title and an authentic label that you can hold on to personally? Because understand the first house, which is where this full moon is, it is all about the self. But the 10th house, where this 10th house Uranus and Taurus energy is showing up for you and squaring, causing some tension, that's all how you show up in the world and how the world sees you. And sometimes the way that people see us in our career is not who we are at the end of the day, when we're just stripped down and we are simply ourselves. No titles, no labels, no accolades, nothing like that. Our resume does not matter in the first house. So Leo rising, your image, which is so important to you all, and I understand I'm a Leo rising, that image is being not just tested, but also there might be a little bit of a push to step outside of your comfort zone, to be different and allow yourself to shine. Let your light shine, Leo risings, even if it's a different color than someone else's. Okay? And know that changes when it comes to who you are and how you are in the world and how you are, especially at work and in your career, these changes hopefully are all good changes that are allowing you to shift your identity, but also reach new levels of success, both in your career and on a personal level. Virgo rising. Virgo risings, ooh, you all have done the work these last 6 months. And this full moon in Leo in your 12th house, man, is this activating it. The 12th house is the house of the subconscious. This is the house of your dream state. It is also the house of all things hidden, sometimes to yourself and definitely to the world. It is the house of meditation, of retreats, of hospitals, prisons, jails, psych wards, everything that is outside of the normal realm of society. Now, that is not to freak you out. I know I just mentioned a few things that might definitely raise some eyebrows. Virgo rising, this full moon in Leo is simply a culmination of a very personal journey that you started back in August. So I want you to think back, August 4th, 2024. What was going on for you around that time? Doesn't have to be that exact date, but around that time, what personal changes were going on in your life, or maybe what seeds were being planted on a very subconscious level, where maybe inwardly you knew that certain habits, certain subconscious patterns, subconscious limiting beliefs, maybe some things like that needed to change. Your inner dream world needed to change in some way. What seeds did you plant of change around August? Utilizing this time as your sense of culmination, because this full moon in Leo in your 12th house is the checkup for what's going on the last 6 months. Have you been doing that inner work? Right? Again, this full moon is going to be much more subtle for Virgo risings. You might feel this on a very deep inward level, but I wouldn't expect it to feel like a very bright, a very chaotic and externally chaotic full moon, if you know what I mean. This is going to be one of those full moons that inwardly you might be feeling that illumination of all of the shadow work that you have gone through, that your soul has worked through over the last 6 months. This is the culmination of that. And so it is also squaring Uranus. And Uranus in Taurus has been moving through your ninth house since 2018. The ninth house is the house of your higher beliefs. It's your higher education. It does also involve long distance travel. Now, those topics might get involved during this full moon. Perhaps all the work that you've done on a subconscious level, all of the limiting beliefs that you might have had to work through, all of the thought patterns that you've had to maybe shift, perhaps your perspective on the world and the way that you think about things on a very deep level, the way you manifest, the way you meditate, the way that you really approach your spiritual practices. Perhaps there has been a shift, or perhaps you've wanted to see a shift. This is your opportunity to really lean into those shifts, because Uranus is in the house of your higher beliefs. And therefore, your belief systems might be changing due to the work you've done on an inward level. Or perhaps all of the work that you've done on an inward level is forcing you now to reevaluate your beliefs on religion, your beliefs on spirituality. Maybe you're adopting new ways of thinking involving your, your personal spiritual practices. Maybe there's something that is really calling you, Virgos, to think outside the box and to explore new places in the world that you've never gone to, but maybe you've been dreaming about those places. This is that full moon that might make no sense to anybody but yourself, and that is okay, Virgos. Know that this is your inner full moon, right? This is your soul's full moon, and it might be bringing you into spaces such as cultures and places and new environments, new arenas for both your mind and your soul to learn and to expand your perspective, because Uranus is asking you to change your perspective of the world. That might be through meditation and spiritual work, and it might be through getting on a plane, getting on a boat or a train, whatever it is, and saying, I'm going there and I'm going to learn and experience and really immerse myself in expanding my mind and really changing my subconscious patternings through those experiences. I know this can be a lot, Virgo risings, but it can be so inwardly fulfilling as long as you listen really deeply to those inner voices within yourself that are calling you towards these new places and perspectives that you're meant to explore. Libra rising. Libra risings, you're gonna love me for saying this. This full moon in Leo is all about your friends. And as an air sign, as a sign so focused on relationships, this full moon might be really fun for you all and a really great opportunity to tap deeper into your social circle, to really connect with your friends, with the people that you are involved with, whether that be through a network you're a part of, an organization, or a team that you're a member of. Libra risings, this full moon in Leo is activating your 11th house, which involves friendships, teams, and social circles that you consider yourself a part of. Now, what's great about this is it's an opportunity to connect and to have fun with the people in your life. And thinking back to August 4th, 2024, Libras, did you start any friendships around that time? Or did you join any teams or become a part of any groups or organizations that now you might be really celebrating and really almost maybe looking back on how things have progressed over the last 6 months with these people? Because this is your opportunity to lean deeper into friendships. It's also the full moon that's culminating whatever friendships started for you back in August. Now, because that was the new moon in Leo, a lot of things might have began for you. That could also imply a friendship that might have ended for you around that time, and a new start when it came to the people that you see and that you're friends with. This again could be a new friend or a new group of friends coming into your life. Or maybe it's people in your life that encouraged and inspired you to thinking bigger about your personal dreams in this life. Because again, the 11th house is not just about friends, but it's also about our bigger hopes and our bigger dreams. Now, Libras, this full moon is also squaring Uranus in Taurus in your 8th house. Ever since 2018, you've had Uranus moving through your 8th house, and therefore you might have experienced a lot of deep psychological changes on a very transformative level when it comes to your finances, potentially that you share with a spouse or partner of some sense. This could involve your sex life, as the 8th house does involve sex. And again, the 8th house involves intimacy and all things that are more taboo that we don't talk about, all the hidden things like sex and money. And it is even the house of death. So maybe you've had to really change how you view death, as Uranus is the planet of change. All of this to say that you are experiencing a square with this very bright, very fun, very playful full moon in your 11th house of friends, which again means that you're more than likely going to celebrate with friends, maybe go to a party, maybe have an experience with friends that feels like, wow, this is exactly what I've always wanted. But there's the square to Uranus, Libras, which is in the 8th house, which is asking you to go deeper than what's on the surface. Leo energy is all about appearance and fun and expressing ourselves authentically. And Libra energy is all about harmony with another person. Sometimes this does not leave room for real, transparent communication on a deep and sometimes more vulnerable level. That's where the 8th house comes in, Libras. And I hate to say it, but that Uranus moving through the 8th house for you, squaring this full moon, is likely to bring up themes of vulnerability in friendship, potentially even sexual themes in friendship, as the 8th house does rule over sex. So this could look like a lot of things. This could look like sexual attention or energy with a friend that maybe wasn't there before. This could look like having to go deeper and maybe be more authentic, more real, more vulnerable with a friend in our life that we are not as comfortable doing. But also, again, Uranus is the planet of change. This might be a very positive change in your friendship as it allows you to connect and go deeper with this person. Lastly, the 8th house involves money. And so you might experience something where perhaps a friend asks you to borrow money, or maybe you're repaying an old debt that you owe a friend. Maybe you took out a loan with a friend in August and now finally you've paid them off and you're celebrating that. Again, these are all simple examples, but understand that this is the energy that you're more than likely to experience during this time, Libras. And so don't be surprised if all the fun and celebration and excitement of that 11th house full moon really allowing you to feel more connected emotionally to your friends, maybe to feel like you really want to have a party and really get connected with them. All of a sudden, Uranus jumps in and it's going to ask you to explore deeper topics of vulnerability and how you can deepen and strengthen your friendship in ways that might not always be on the surface. Scorpio rising. Scorpios, I know this Mars retrograde has probably felt like the longest 2 months for you all, as it is your ruling planet. And I know it might have felt like we were really waterlogged and having a hard time kind of paddling our way to the shore. So just know we are at the finish line. We are 2 weeks away from the end of the Mars retrograde. Just want to let you all know that. But let's look at the full moon in Leo for you guys. It's in your 10th house of career and your public image. And now ever since Aquarius season started, Scorpios, you've had the sun and Pluto in your 4th house, which has really drawn your attention towards your home life, towards maybe your family, your mom, the people that you live with, or maybe even things involving the structure in which you call home, right? Your living space. And now all of a sudden, this full moon is activating your 10th house of career. And this is really the culmination of whatever you began in terms of your career back in August of 2024. So think back, Scorpios, to what was going on for you in August of 2024. Did you start something in your career? Were you given a promotion? Did you experience a title change? Or maybe you completely decided to change up careers altogether, or that you simply set the intention, planted the seed that you wanted change in your career. Or maybe none of that. Maybe there was just something that happened for you around that time, and over the last 6 months, that situation has unfolded in a certain way. And know that now this full moon is basically the tying of the bow of whatever that situation or whatever that intention was that you set back in August. So what's going on for you career-wise? And again, this is Leo energy. So are we fully showing up in our career? Are we feeling proud in what we do for a living? Do we feel like we're able to take up space and be seen in our career? Because it's likely, Scorpios, that the eyes will be on you this week at your job or in your career field as the full moon in Leo is lighting this area up for you. I wouldn't be surprised if circumstances unfold that really, again, show up in that part of your life. Now, this might also affect your marriage. This might affect any business partnerships you have or any one-to-one clients that you have, because it is squaring Uranus, which is in your 7th house. Now, Uranus has been moving through Taurus, which is your 7th house of marriage and one-to-one partnership ever since 2018. So Scorpios, I don't know what's been going on, but I'm sure a lot has unfolded when it comes to your relationships. Maybe if you're married, this is your marriage. Uranus is the planet of change, freedom, rebellion, revolution, liberation, So maybe a divorce has happened, or maybe you've had to change up the way that you operate in your relationship to allow for more freedom. Maybe there's been a change that your partner has undergone that you've had to witness and go through with them. Whatever that is, I wouldn't be surprised if that also plays a part in the career situations or unfoldings that happen for you this week. It is the week of Valentine's Day, which means that, of course, your spouse might be important to you, or whatever person that you have in your life that's like that one-to-one partner in your life. They might be, of course, taking up a lot of your time, and how is that affecting your career? Are you, prioritizing your partnership over your career, or vice versa? These are questions that you might have to ask yourself, but also maybe work through during this full moon. So Scorpios, be aware that you have a lot of energy happening for you this week, especially because of the fact that this is activating your 10th house and your 7th house, which are very, very potent places in the chart. They mean a lot. Our career and the person we're living with, the person that we're, potentially married to in this case, they take up a lot of our life. How are those things working in tandem with one another? And if they're not, where could we bring in change? How could we adjust the way that we are in our career and with our partner to allow both of those aspects of our life to feel solid and to feel like they're flowing in harmony? Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius, I love this full moon for you because it is in your 9th house. And the 9th house is all about long distance travel, cultures, higher level beliefs, religion, spirituality, and even astrology. Now, why do I say that? Well, obviously, being a Sagittarius, you value those things. You value travel and expanding your mind. And in many ways, the 9th house is closely associated with Sagittarius. So this full moon in Leo is definitely a culmination and an illumination of these themes of travel and expansion that you might already have a lot of care towards. Now, think back, Sagittarius, to August 4th, 2024. That was when we had the new moon in Leo active in this house. Did you begin any sort of coursework? Maybe you started university or college during that time. Again, it's August, so I know a lot of people end up going back to school around that time, fall semester. Did you start to plan a trip or set an intention that you wanted to visit somewhere you've never been? Did you change up a belief system that you've held for a long time and suddenly maybe you decided you wanted to expand the way you see things and learn more about something that you have never learned about? All of that might be very common for a Sagittarius rising. And now you're experiencing a culmination where maybe you did complete the first semester of schoolwork, of college, and you're celebrating that you got your grades back and you did a great job. Or maybe you decided 6 months ago, I'm going to book a trip in 2025 to go somewhere that I've always wanted to go to and check something off my bucket list. And yes, this is the full moon that you finally book those plane tickets. That could be. Whatever that is for you, Sag risings, and again, knowing that the 9th house is all about foreign travel and expanding your mind through learning or through experience, then now you can look at what it is that you've been working towards over the last 6 months and how has it expanded your mind and opened your perspective on life, on your belief systems, on the way that the world works in general. How has that changed for you? Now, Uranus in Taurus has been moving through your 6th house since 2018. I hope that everything involving your health has been okay, as the 6th house does involve your physical body and any health ailments, usually more acute, chronic things, nothing dire. But Uranus in the 6th house certainly can be a cause for unexpected health issues to come up. It can also be a really great invitation to change up our day-to-day tasks and all of the habits and routines that we keep on a daily basis, as the 6th house does involve our day-to-day tasks. Now, one thing about this full moon being square to Uranus in your 6th house is you might be feeling, Sagittarius, like you're ready to book that plane ticket, like I just said, right? Like I finished my first semester of college or my last, or I decided I wanted to learn more about this topic of study and now I feel like an expert on it. Maybe I'm being offered a position to teach about it. Or maybe I've just simply really grown my knowledge of astrology or a religion and I'm really ready to take it to the next level. This might be an amazing opportunity and a time for you where you're emotionally feeling driven and ready to do that. And then all of a sudden that Uranus square pops in your 6th house and it reminds you of the tasks you still have on your plate. Hey, I know you want to go book that trip, but make sure that you still check off your to-do list at home, right? Maybe this is also your health or your physical body preventing or altering or asking you to change your plans or to change the way you see the world as it relates to your physical experiences and your personal ones happening in the sixth house, involving your health and your day-to-day routines. Lastly, the sixth house involves pets. And so on a very simple level, Sag, you might have this real urge to book that trip and maybe to go and celebrate, as it's been 6 months of really learning and working towards whatever this goal is. And now you want to go on the trip, but you remember, oh, I have to change up my plans because I have something going on with my pet, or I can't leave them where they were meant to go and I have to have them stay somewhere else. Again, just examples, but since the sixth house does involve pets, service, the work that you do on a daily basis, and your physical health, all of those things could affect your plans in the ninth house of travel, of expanding your mind. And so be open to changing your plans in order to accommodate the responsibilities that are on your plate. Capricorn rising. Capricorns, I want you to think back to August 4th, 2024. And think back to what seeds of change you planted on a very psychological, deep inner level. I ask this because that was when we had the new moon in Leo. And now we're experiencing the full moon in Leo on Wednesday, February 12th. Now, this full moon is a culmination of the last 6 months that you've been working towards maybe transforming a part of your deeper psychological self that you more than likely don't share with too many people. That's because the eighth house is all of the stuff that we keep more secret. In fact, it is the house of secrets. This is the area of the chart that is all about the deeper psychological components of oneself, our psyche, so to speak. This is also the area of the chart that involves other people's money, meaning our spouse's income, as well as any old debts, credit cards, inheritances, loans, any money we've borrowed. It's also the house of sex and sexual intimacy, and the house that deals with all things taboo, sometimes even occult. Topics like metaphysics and ghost studies, things that people get scared of. The eighth house can be a bit scary. Now, I'm going to pause there because I know you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, this doesn't sound like too much fun. But here's the thing, Capricorns, this is actually the house of our deepest transformation, where we can take all the stuff that we don't share with people and use it as fuel, use it as what we need to rebuild ourselves from the ashes and to fly, to really spread our wings and to blossom from whatever shadow we are coming from. So this is the full moon where you're being invited to really just really explore what it is that has allowed you to transform since August. Have you been able to transform your relationship with income? Have you been able to maybe involve other people when it comes to your money, either through taking out a loan or maybe having your partner's income play a role in your overall transformation? Has something involving your partner's income come up for you over the last 6 months that you've had to work through, or that it's changed in some way and you've had to experience that? This is the house of all things secretive. So don't be surprised if during this full moon you feel very emotional, but like you don't necessarily want to share this with a lot of people. Vulnerability is a big component of the eighth house, and this could be something that you've had to subtly work on inwardly over the last 6 months. Are you feeling comfortable with being vulnerable with people in your life? Do you feel comfortable with sharing money with somebody, with sharing intimacy with somebody? Do you feel like you're able to be your most vulnerable self with those in your life that you are expected, right, to have more of an intimate relationship with? And so if that is the case and that's what you've been experiencing, take this full moon in Leo as your opportunity to really celebrate all of the work you've done to maybe improve your experience and your relationship with vulnerability and with being more open and transparent and honest, even when it was hard to do so. Now, this full moon is also squaring Uranus in Taurus in your fifth house. Now, the fifth house deals with children. It deals with dating and romance, and it does deal also with our creative projects, hobbies, and sports and games. So since 2018, these topics in our life have more than likely, Capricorns, you've been probably having some changes going on here, whether that be changes to your romantic experiences, your dating life, changes to the relationship with your children or even your inner child, as well as changes to how you express yourself creatively at any passion projects that you have. It could be that during this full moon, because it is squaring Uranus in that area of your life, that romance and sexual intimacy becomes something you have to work towards, and maybe changes need to be made. Because again, it's a square and this causes tension. You could experience things and issues with maybe having to change up your relationship with your children and the money in which that they give you or you give them, and vice versa, right? Because the 8th house deals with finances, the 5th house deals with children. It could simply be that you have been really taking a lot of time to devote to all of these new projects that you've been working on. Maybe you've got a passion project or something creative that you love diving into. And because there's a square with Leo in that 8th house, you've been feeling like maybe you want to keep it more secret. It's a creative project, but you want it to be more of a secret project that only you work on. And emotionally, that full moon in Leo is really encouraging you to keep it hidden. But at the same time, Uranus is the planet of change. Perhaps there's a situation that happens for you, Capricorn, where you realize, I can't keep everything hidden. And I'm supposed to express who I am. I'm supposed to be open and honest and to experience love and to experience romance and fun. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to trust another person with myself, my body, my money, and the fun that I have in life. All of these topics for you, Capricorns, can be arising during this full moon. So allow this full moon to be your chance to explore themes of transformation, intimacy, and fun all in one. Aquarius rising. Aquarius is this full moon in Leo is activating your 7th house, which is all about marriage and partnership. So think back to August 4th, 2024. What was happening for you in the area of your life when it comes to your marriage? Your partner, your spouse, your hubby, your wifey, who is it that you spend your life with? And how have things been going for the two of you ever since August? Think back over the last 6 months. Maybe you set some goals together in August. Maybe you said together, we're going to, change up some ways that we are with one another, or maybe add some more to our relationship that wasn't there prior. Again, this is Leo energy, so it's fun, it's playful. Maybe you've been lacking some of that, and over the last 6 months, you've decided you wanted to add more of that in. Whatever that is for you, Aquarius, this full moon in Leo is more than likely going to activate and really bring up a lot of situations, conversations, even just general circumstances involving your spouse, involving your partner. If it's not a romantic partner, if you're single, this can actually also be a best friend or even a business partner. All right, so understanding that this particular relationship, or maybe there's a few of these in our lives, usually the 7th house, we don't have too many of these people, right? Most of us only marry one person, or in this case, we only have a couple best friends if we're not in a relationship or a business partner. Or maybe you, of course, have all those people in your life, including the spouse. All those people fall in this category. So you might have experiences with these people in your life. Again, I'm going to focus mainly on the marriage part because the 7th house is traditionally known as the house of marriage. Also, this could be could be the time that this area of life feels really emotionally stirred up. Now, this could be that all of a sudden there's a lot more emotional, passionate displays of affection, right? PDA. Maybe your spouse is feeling like you want to have more fun together, or maybe they feel like things need to shift in some way. And now this shift could come because, of course, Uranus is involved. And Uranus is the planet of change, freedom, liberation, and evolution. And it is in your 4th house. Now, Aquarius, you've had Uranus moving through the 4th house for you. This is the house of your home, your family, your childhood, your parents, usually the mom, but it's also the house of your physical living situation. Now, ever since 2018, you might have maybe moved a lot or changed up where you've lived. Maybe there's been some chaos or unsteadiness in terms of your home life, or you've just really had a reckoning with it where you've had a real overhaul when it comes to your living situation, your childhood, or anything of that sort. All of those topics are more than likely to come back up for you during this full moon, and they will more than likely have some relation to your spouse or the person that you consider your close partner. So this could look like something involving your relationship affects your living situation. Now, this can be positive, right? This can be like you and your spouse decide that you're going to change where you live and you're going to move somewhere else. This could look like a family member maybe joining your home and moving in with you either for a short period of time or a more extended one. This could look like a change in your relationship status where maybe things end and all of a sudden now you are changing your physical living situation. Or perhaps a family member creates some tension in your marriage and now that has to get worked through and some changes and boundaries need to be established. Anything can happen when it comes to Uranus. It's like I call it the WTF planet. And being an Aquarius rising, Uranus in modern astrology does rule over your rising sign, which means that this planet is doing a lot for you Aquariuses. So don't be surprised if you have to change something in your marriage or in your partnership with somebody you're close to. And it might involve something involving your home or people that you consider to be family. Whatever that is, be open and be flexible as much as you can to change. As an Aquarius, I know you have that fixity when it comes to these certain things, so that can be a challenge. But hopefully with Uranus's involvement here and the push towards innovation, you're able to upgrade and up-level perhaps your marriage and your living situation to ultimately be better than it was before. Pisces rising. Pisces, a lot is going on for you all right now, especially with the North Node entering into your first house. We have Mercury entering Pisces in just a couple days, and we have the Sun entering Pisces in a few days as well. Pisces season is abound, and oh my goodness, a lot is happening in this sign. So Pisces placements, I'm here if you want to chat more. But let's look at the full moon in Leo. This is activating your 6th house, and it is the house of your day-to-day tasks and routines. This is the house of your physical health. Typically nothing major as far as, don't be too worried when I say health, but it does involve any health ailments like acute or chronic health issues of the physical body. This house also involves the work that we do on a day-to-day basis, the service we provide, and it involves our fuzzy friends, our pets. Now, Pisces, having a full moon in Leo does mean that a culmination is occurring for you in this part of your life. Think back to August 4th, beginning of August 2024. Did you begin something around that time? Maybe when it comes to your health, your physical body, a workout routine, a new beauty treatment that you started doing on a weekly basis. Maybe you just started changing up your skincare nightly, whatever that is, Pisces. Something started for you during this time. Now, again, that's just one example. The 6th house can be all things involving our day-to-day routines. So maybe it's all of a sudden in August, your daily life changed in some way. The responsibilities that were on your plate before August of last year changed. And ever since August, you have had more on your plate. What is that that's been on your plate, Pisces? And are you finally able to celebrate the work you've put in, the service that you've provided to the world, to your society, maybe even to your local environment and your neighborhood and your local community? How have you been able to really celebrate and work towards whatever it is that you've been doing every single day? What is that thing, Pisces? That's really what we're celebrating during this full moon. Now, this full moon is squaring, and it is squaring Uranus in your 3rd house. Uranus in Taurus has been moving through your 3rd house since 2018. This is the area of the chart that deals with your communication. It also deals with education, your learning habits. Again, elementary school falls in this category. Teaching, learning, anything that involves our mind. This is also the house of our local neighborhood and our siblings. And so perhaps these topics are coming up for you, these areas of life, maybe the neighbors that you live near or your siblings are calling you for some reason during this week. And maybe that'll affect what's on your plate, right? The responsibilities you've got. 3rd house involves your local neighborhood. So perhaps during this full moon, you have to suddenly change the places you've been going to on a daily basis, right? Because again, it's the 6th house. Full moon in your 6th house is all about your day-to-day routines. But it is squaring the planet of change in your 3rd house of your local community. And all of a sudden, maybe you have to start going somewhere you've never been, out of your comfort zone, out of your traditional realm where you frequent on a daily basis. That might be one example. This could also look like your communication, your mind, topics you've been studying and learning about. Maybe all of a sudden this full moon encourages you to change the way that you communicate, to change the things that you're learning about, thinking about, and how you even communicate about them. All of that might be a reason to change, but it more than likely is going to come from something happening in your 6th house. So maybe a health, something comes up with your health, and all of a sudden now you're researching more about that, or you're talking to people in your local community so you can learn more about this particular health ailment. It could be that you take up a new, work, and all of a sudden on a daily basis, you have a couple more hours of work you have to do, or maybe you're serving others through charity work or volunteering. This could be that something involving your pets pops up, and now you're relying on a neighbor or a sibling to help take care of your pet. And now every single day you have to go over there, and maybe they're helping you to dog sit or pet sit or cat sit or whatever it is, right? So these are just some examples, but hopefully they all make sense for you Pisces, as naturally this full moon is going to activate your mind with your daily tasks. The things that you think about on a daily basis, as well as the people that you see on a daily basis. What are you teaching about, thinking about, learning about, and where are you going to experience these things? All of a sudden, those areas of life could be changing for you, and that's okay. It's going to change up what the responsibilities are on your plate, but hopefully for the better, right? Hopefully this is the change that you've been asking for, that your physical body can be really grateful for, as well as your daily life. This might be the change that you've been waiting for and asking for, and it's finally here. Okay, so last and final point, listen up. If you are an Aquarius, you only have one more week left. I offer 50% off birth chart readings. If you want to know more about where these planets are in your chart, if you want to understand your cosmic coding, the blueprint that makes you who you are and how you tick, link is below for that. Pisces, your season's coming up. I am here for you guys as well. 50% off if you're interested in a birth chart reading. Now, not only that, but I offer 50% off solar return chart readings. Aquarius, you guys have a week left. If you want to snag one of these for 50% off, Pisces, same thing, get ready. 50% off if you want to know more about what you can expect for your year ahead. If you have a birthday coming up, or you have a loved one that has a birthday coming up, I offer gift certificates. The link is below for all of that, you guys. I really hope that this information was of value to you. If it was, make sure that you share this out, hit the like button, comment, and of course, be sure that you've subscribed, as I do put out a video every 2 weeks. Make sure you stay tuned, because in 2 weeks we have a new moon in Pisces on February 27th. I will also be diving into Venus going retrograde in Aries. You don't want to miss that. It's one of the biggest cosmic events of 2025. So I hope you all have a beautiful full moon in Leo, an amazing Valentine's Day. Rounding out February, Mars is going direct. We have a lot to look forward to before March hits and March Madness abounds. So with that, I send you all so much love. I hope you have a beautiful few weeks, and I will see you all again in the next video.